In this video, we're looking at the movement of the shoulder blades or the scapula themselves and some of the muscles that help to move them. So the shoulder blades or the scapula are affixed on the back and connect to the ribs via different muscle groups. In order for the shoulder girdle, so the entire network of the shoulder, to be healthy, we want some movement of those shoulder blades. And here are the different movements. So we have elevation, or the ability to lift the shoulder blades up. Depression, or the ability to draw those shoulder blades down the back. And this might be a cue that you're familiar with in yoga. We also have protraction, which is creating space between the shoulder blades, and retraction, or bringing those shoulder blades together. So in order for us to look at the protraction, just take a little look at this. Imagine that you're sort of doing this pushing forward with the arm, and you'll feel how that creates more space between the shoulder blades, or a rounding creates more space. That's that protraction. But then the opposite, drawing the elbows towards each other, comes into the retraction. So protraction, moving away, maybe elbows to the side, and retraction, drawing in. Or another way to think of it is pushing forward, moving the shoulder blade away, and drawing back, bringing the shoulder blades in. We also have upward and downward rotation that comes with the movement of the arm. So as the arm moves up, so does the shoulder blade. As the arm moves down, so does the shoulder blade. So we want our shoulder blades themselves, the scapula, to have a healthy range of motion. And the range of motion comes from movement in the arm. So movement in the arms themselves. So anytime our arm reaches forward or back, or elbows come together or forward, or arm goes up or down, there should be movement of the shoulder blade, the scapula. Now, a group of muscles that sits right between the shoulder blades, the scapula, is the rhomboids. So it's right here, right between the shoulder blades. It's very common for people to have tight and weak rhomboids, especially if they spend a lot of time not doing a lot with their arms, so not doing, say, motions like this with their arms, or if they're doing only tiny motions, like with rounded shoulders, maybe typing at a desk. Very common if somebody has tight or weak rhomboids for the shoulders to be rounded forward, because then those rhomboids get overworked, like they're working really hard to keep yourself in this rounded position, and then a lot of tightness comes in between the shoulder blades. So you might even get like that pinching pain feeling. That happens when the shoulders themselves are a little rounded. Rhomboids get weak, fatigued, and tight in that position. So wonderful if you're working with folks who have that pain between the shoulder blades, possibly tight or weak rhomboid muscles, to stretch them out. Now, one of the great stretches out for those rhomboids is a movement that we do all the time in yoga, our cat-cow or chakra vakasana, or spinal waves. So as I round my spine, I'm going into that protraction, shoulder blades moving away from each other. As I come into my little back bend, I can feel the shoulder blades squeeze towards each other. So this movement, and if you even sort of exaggerate it, I like to bring my hands slightly farther forward. I'll really straighten my arms as I round, and then I'll bend the elbows as I come into the back bend. And that exaggeration, go ahead and follow along, helps me really feel that movement of the shoulder blades. So I can notice, oh yeah, I can feel maybe some of that stickiness of the shoulder blades resolve with this movement, that rounding and the arching, which is, yeah, good here. So here we have our flexion of the spine and our extension of the spine, or protraction, moving away of the shoulder blades, away from each other, and retraction back towards each other. Other ways that we can release the shoulder blades, we can go here into a thread the needle. This is a lovely variation to get into the shoulder blades. So I inhale, arm up, exhale, slide the arm underneath. Maybe I do that, say, 3 times. It's such a lovely, lovely way to get into that shoulder release. Perhaps I'll pause as I come on down, get that extra little shoulder stretch. I might even bring the hand behind the back. Take a couple of breaths there, and then I can come back up and come on to the other side. If you've got folks with tight shoulders, go ahead and follow along with me on the other side. This is such a wonderful way to get some movement of those shoulder blades, the scapula. Get them moving, a little less sticky on the back, a little release for those rhomboids, those muscles between the shoulder blades. I'm going to pause next time I come on down. Take a couple of breaths there, really feeling that breath come into the shoulders. And then perhaps I come back up, and I might even take a little pause in child's pose to, again, feel the shoulders. Another great way to get into the rhomboids here in our child's pose is just to bend the elbows and maybe interlace the fingers. A little rock from side to side. Twists are another lovely way to get into releasing those rhomboid muscles. So in truth, any seated twist or standing twist, for example, a sukhasana or easy pose twist to the side, I can feel as I rotate and feel that opening of the thoracic spine. I can feel a little movement of the shoulder blade, and then to the other side. Or I could maybe even try the Ardha Matsyendrasana or that half lord of the fish's pose. Same thing. As I twist to the side, I get a lovely movement of the shoulder blade. I could even twist the other way and feel the same thing. I'm going to try it on the other side. So try that out and just notice, okay, as I come into my twist, can I feel that movement in the upper back, the thoracic spine, where I have the shoulder blades? And can I even feel some of that movement between the shoulder blades? Another real master pose that I love to release those rhomboid muscles is our eagle arms, where, and you can be in any position for this, standing, seated, doesn't matter, crossing one arm over the other, and maybe even doing a little rounding forward to feel that space between the shoulder blades, so that protraction, and then coming back up. Maybe even doing that a couple of times, and then switching. So we can start to feel that space increase, that the muscle fibers of the rhomboids, that muscle group between the shoulder blades, just start to release a little bit. So any of those movements, fantastic for releasing the rhomboids. And to get into strengthening them, really similar to things we've done before, we go back to our friends cobra, little bridge, and dolphin pose. So, for example, I'll come on down so you can see. As we come into our cobra pose on the tummy, sliding the hands back. Again, using that cue to tug elbows back, lift up. We can feel that movement of that retraction, shoulder blades moving towards each other, and then coming back down. So engaging, as we come up, really engaging those muscles between the shoulder blades, the rhomboids. Same thing with the little bridge. So I'm going to come up through my hands and knees, and then come on to my back. Same thing with our little bridge pose as we come on to it. So I've got knees bent, feet flat on the floor, palms down beside me. I'm going to lift up. And then as I gather my shoulders towards each other or elbows towards each other, I might even interlace the fingers. I'm starting to engage those muscles between the shoulder blades as I lift up, perhaps a little bit more. I could even try that, lifting up a bit more and then back down. Really effectively getting into those rhomboid muscles. And then the last one, that dolphin pose that we've explored for almost every muscle group so far to strengthen them. Coming onto hands and knees, interlacing the fingers, and then lifting up, perhaps even doing that little rock forward and back to strengthen that space between the shoulder blades. into those rhomboid muscles. So those are some things that can help to strengthen the muscle group between the shoulder blades, the rhomboids. The last one we'll look at is our pec minor. So we looked earlier at the pec major muscle. That's right in the front of the chest, kind of like, or almost like a round muscle on each side of the chest. The pec minor, much smaller, narrower muscle. And what it really helps with is elevation and depression of the scapula. So lifting shoulder blades up and lifting shoulder blades down. It also helps with rotating inward or medially the humerus bone or the upper arm bone. Now, ways that we can release the tight pec minor, very similar to releasing tight pec major, because the major just lies over the minor, any of our back bends. So we can go back to our little bridge pose. We can interlace fingers behind the back and lift up. You can imagine also doing that in little bridge pose. Or we could come into that heart bed pose. In one of the earlier videos, I showed you heart bed with a bolster propped up on a block, but you can do it also just simply with a bolster down. And by having the arms out to the side here, you can start to feel perhaps that release, that stretch around the front of the chest. So any back bends, and you can consider, ooh, what other heart opening poses do I know? Any back bend is going to help to release tight pectoralis minor muscles. And then strengthening them, we can get into our bridge. It helps to strengthen them as we lift up and down. Doing that flow. So as I come up and down, that can help to strengthen the pectoralis minor muscle. But another one that we haven't looked at yet, and I'm going to come on to hands and knees to show you, is the sunbird or opposite arm, opposite leg movement. And perhaps we haven't come to this one since we were looking at back here in section 1. That really helps to strengthen the deep back muscles, the multifidus muscles. But also as we bring one arm up and down, so we can bring the leg into it as well, but as we bring the arm into it, it very, very much helps to strengthen the pectoralis minor muscle. So I'm doing that internal rotation, bringing the arm up. So having that movement also of the scapula. So that elevation, lifting up, and that depression, moving down. This is also a great one for helping to strengthen the rotator cuff muscles. So in fact, sunbird, bringing the arm up like this and down, super helpful for strengthening a number of muscle groups. And then the final one that can help to strengthen the pectoralis minor is plank. Our friend plank, once again, either with the hands forward, knees on the ground, or knees up. Finding that resistance as you press down through the hands, press back through the heels, finding that core strength come in, and also notice that we're stabilizing into the shoulders, pressing the earth away, resisting to strengthen those pec minor muscles. When the pec minor is weak, it's another one where we'll find these rounded shoulders. So the theme throughout all of the videos on movements of the shoulders and the anatomy of the shoulders that I'd like you to consider is, how can we find a balance between the front and the back of the shoulder girdle? And how can we balance also the mobility or the movements of the shoulders with stability, the ability to stay in one place? If we have a well-rounded yoga asana practice, we can also have really healthy shoulders that are both strong, so able to support our own body weight as we bring them through things like down dog, up dog, plank, chaturanga, but also can release really gently as well, so that when we come to stand in an upright position, and that's where I'm going to come now, that we have the body very upright, so the shoulders are more or less sitting right over the hips as I stand upright. And the head more or less sat right over the shoulders. So more or less ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over knees, knees over ankles. And when we're in that position for our natural posture, we'll find a lot more evenness between the muscle groups and, in fact, a lot less pain throughout the body.